Welcome to another episode of This Week in Crypto. My name is Singh, and this is the episode for April 22nd, 2018. As we dive into episode 14, there's a lot to talk about, guys, especially since I've been out for the past 2 weeks. So, without any further ado, let's kick this party off with episode 14 of This Week in Crypto. So before we get started, I want to apologize to you guys. So I was out for the first week because, as I tweeted, I wanted to get some research done, get some more new content on the site for our members. But the second week, I was hoping to do a podcast from San Francisco, but I kind of lost my voice, and it's kind of hard to do a podcast when you don't have a voice. You could probably tell I'm still a bit stuffy, still a little sick, under the weather, but, you know, they say the show must go on, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's not waste any time. There's a lot of things that we need to catch up on, a lot of news, a lot of interesting things as we see the market has been rebounding. If you follow Gaurav's technical analysis, that's on the members section for TA for traders, you'll notice exactly where he's gearing as to where the market is going. And if you follow my technical analysis for investors, you'll also know that there is a heavy area of resistance that we really need to get through. I mean, I'm ecstatic. I like the fact that we are moving upwards, but there is that ceiling that we need to break through, and I'm really looking to get over the 9,000 mark and then the 9,300 mark. Again, if you're a member, you'll get all the details, you get all the updates, so go over to the member section of cryptocoinguru.net and definitely get started. The one thing I do want to talk about is that I've noticed that since when the market slumps or we go into a bearish market, a lot of people stop putting out podcasts or they stop putting out content. And then all of a sudden, when the markets become bullish again, you see a ton of content flooding the market. And that kind of interests me, especially considering the fact that, guys, when the market's down, that's when most of the content should be made. If you're really trying to help investors or the average mom and pop investor, you have to understand that you have to be with them throughout the downtrends. You can't just abandon them. And that's what we tried to do at Crypto Coin Guru. I don't know if you've noticed. If you're a member, you definitely noticed that as we were in a bearish market, we kept on putting content out there because, as Warren Buffett says, when everyone is exuberant or excited, be cautious. And when the markets are bearish and people are screaming fire or they are scared out of their minds and pulling out of the market, that's when you should be greedy. So, you know, you've heard me say this again and again. We're starting to see a rise in the market. We're going to see a lot of people jump in because of FOMO. But at this point, for the most part, you should be invested for the year. Well, with whatever you've invested, which will give you some great gains if we start moving up again. The other thing I want to put out there is if you've been dollar cost averaging in, you're already in a good spot. Though if you haven't, definitely join our members section because you are not late. You're not late to the game for the year. There's still enough time for you to put some money in and invest so that you can make more money out of it. But as far as if we look at the yearly spans, you're still very, very early. We haven't even gotten the early adopters really in yet. Institutional money is now starting to pour in. So if you're looking for a long-term investment, this would be a wonderful time to get in if you're not already in, to get your feet wet. And if you already are in, it's always a great time to add more. But exactly how and when, these are things that we talk about in the members section. Guys, it is vital. It is critical to become a member so that you're investing soundly. You're investing with the right frame of mind and not gambling, not throwing your money away. Again, take all of this as entertainment or as an opinion. None of this is financial advice. I have to say that disclaimer. But, we're here to teach you how to invest. We're not trying to tell you when to invest. And I think that's huge. They talk about catch a fish or feed a man for a day. You know, you fed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, and you've fed him or her for a lifetime. And that's the way we want to approach this. We want to teach you how to invest so that you can invest for the rest of your life in a very smart and a calculated, non-emotional manner. Anyways, let's move on to see what's been going on for the past 2 weeks in the cryptoverse. The first thing I want to talk about is basically coin cards. So coin cards decided to bring Bitcoin Lightning Network payments to its platform. And you're probably wondering who and what CoinCard is. Well, CoinCard is a website in Canada that basically sells gift cards. And in a blog post earlier this month, around April 9th, we saw that CoinCard started allowing users to pay for gift cards for their major Canadian retailers with Bitcoin. And they've been allowing to do that since 2013. But what's changed is now they're permitting Lightning Network payments for purchases up to $25. Now, that move makes CoinCards the first major non-technical entity to accept Lightning. The wide selection of gift cards available on that platform or on that website basically means that you can now use Bitcoin to pay for items on Amazon, Newegg, and even Best Buy. But it would happen not directly. Rather, you would have to buy a gift card using Bitcoin and then use the gift card at the retailer's website. But you know what? It's still one step closer to using Bitcoin for almost everything. Now, explaining the implementation, CoinCards added that it partnered with developers from BTC Pay or Bitcoin Pay to facilitate the client-side Lightning Network. And they went ahead to say that, quote, "We are extremely pleased to announce that thanks to the talented and driven team of Bitcoin Pay, CoinCards.ca is now Bitcoin Lightning Network enabled." I honestly think this is a great thing. Though it's only limited to gift cards of $25. So if I wanted to buy a TV that was $400, well, I'd have to buy a bunch of $25 gift cards to whatever that retailer was. Though it's a start. And it looks like Bitcoin retailers are catching up with this trend too. So the rapid expansion of Lightning onto the Bitcoin network mainnet, which occurred in 2018 this year, has seen that the business community has been struggling to keep up with the pace of change. Now, despite the security and technical providence remaining in a gray area, you could say, Lightning Network has enjoyed a huge uptake from more technically minded Bitcoin users. And this has basically led to the first consumer-oriented apps and services to already leave the experimental stage. Now, among the first of which was Blockstream's acceptance of products on its new web store in January, as of this month, Lightning Network mainnet boasted about 1,458 public nodes, and that's about 4,713 channels. Now, the node count having passed that of Bitcoin Cash, continued belief in the currency-focused aspect of Bitcoin. So this whole thing that Roger Ver keeps on tweeting out about Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, garbage. Thankfully for the Lightning Network, we can actually see that. The total capacity of this mainnet Lightning Network is just under about $80,000. So I would like to see this a lot more as far as implementation goes. I would love to see companies that do gift cards adopt the Lightning Network, especially here in the United States, so I can start buying gift cards using my Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever it may be, and then go purchase them at my local Best Buy or Amazon or Starbucks. But theoretically, what I'd like to see in the future is the companies such as Best Buy, Starbucks, Amazon, just adopting cryptocurrencies so that I can just go on there, hit a button, and be done with it, and just buy my product. I really don't want a middleman. I don't want to have to go out and buy gift cards so that I could spend it at a place. Now, I say this because if a company were to offer allowing me to pay using my cryptocurrency, and I will say this much, that there are companies out there that do, such as Streamza, I'm more inclined to spend more there. I'm actually more inclined to use their services because they're allowing me to use cryptocurrency. As a thank you, I would spend more money there. Now, imagine if I could buy airline tickets. I just came from San Francisco, the Sacramento area, and I'm flying out again very soon. If I could buy all my airline tickets and whatnot through crypto, oh my gosh, I would be a loyal fan of that airline carrier. Let's shift the topic a little bit here and let's talk about EOS. EOS has been doing really, really well in the market so far. Block One's blockchain app platform EOS has basically come under fire after announcing its incoming mainnet launch, as its EOS token is not going to have any use anymore. So the project, which surpassed Litecoin by market cap and intends to allow developers to create decentralized applications or DApps, has raised about $700 million, and its ongoing ICO, despite the fact that developers at the time openly acknowledged that the token users were buying zero utility. What? Yeah. Now, with developers confirming a mainnet release in June of 2018, fresh criticism is coming to light from those who have realized that only software will be released and not an actual platform. Now, when I was reading, I read this quote, "They're just releasing the code and there will be a multiple network blockchain you can then hopefully redeem some sort of other token on. It won't be EOS though." So what people don't seem to realize is that there is no actual EOS network per se that the ERC20 token can be redeemed on. Now, they're just realizing the code and there will be multiple networks or multiple blockchains that you can then probably or hopefully, or we assume, redeem some sort of other token on. It's not going to be that EOS token. This was brought to our attention on April 12th by Jackson Palmer. So what does that mean? Zero utility? So Block One had been at pains to state publicly that the ICO token was little, if anything, more than a vehicle for raising funds. In the project's website and their FAQ, the tokens are described as basically not even serving a purpose for the EOS platform itself, let alone its prospective clients. The EOS token, they don't have any rights. They don't have uses, they don't have a purpose, attributes, functionalities, features, any of that, expressed or implied. And that includes, without limitation, any uses, purposes, attributes, functionalities, or features on the actual EOS platform itself. And that came directly from the EOS FAQ. So while the information had been common knowledge even before the ICO, about 35% uptick in EOS's value, as investors anticipated an airdrop, appeared to kind of stoke discontent throughout the cryptocurrency community. And people kept on harping on that there's no network being launched. This is just software. At this point, pro-EOS defenders retaliated, claiming that the token description was legalese and didn't reflect the project's true value. But this is something that I really want to follow because EOS, with its price surging the way it is, and I have to say that I have 2 EOS tokens. I just put enough in there to see if it goes anywhere. As far as the utility of the token, you know, if that project goes to crap, I'm not going to lose much on it. But it's something that we really need to keep in a close watch on. And I think as the weeks go on, as we learn more about this, I'm going to be reporting about this a lot more. Because is EOS valuable? Does it have value? Can it become valuable? Are the tokens valuable? Are the tokens worth us investing in? These things are important to know and understand before we dump our money into such projects. And like I said, in the member section, this is something that I will be diving into, if not into the podcast. So this is something we need to keep an eye on, and we'll keep our thumb on the pulse and see where it goes. All right, some more news. Amazon may soon accept Bitcoin. Wait, there's more. And sell the data to law enforcement. That's right. So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has approved Amazon Technologies' filing for a patent on a streaming data marketplace. The patent in question was originally filed in September 2014 and makes references to Bitcoin transactions twice. Now, as noted by CNBC, the first Bitcoin-related instance described a data stream that publishes or includes global Bitcoin transactions, or basically any cryptocurrency transaction. The patent provides an example. And the way the example reads is, a group of electronic or internet retailers who accept Bitcoin transactions may have a shipping address that may correlate with a Bitcoin address. The electronic retailers may combine the shipping address with the Bitcoin transaction data to create correlated data and republish the combined data as a combined data stream. Okay, so that basically means they would take my Bitcoin address and attach it to my shipping address where the product would be shipped. Interesting. It goes on to say, a group of telecommunications providers may subscribe downstream to the combined data stream and be able to correlate the IP, Internet Protocol, addresses of the transaction to countries of origin. Government agencies may be able to subscribe downstream and correlate tax transaction data to help identify transaction participants. So, as CNBC notes that the patent second Bitcoin-related example describes how a law enforcement agency may be interested in global Bitcoin transaction data in order to correlate Bitcoin wallet addresses to IP or physical addresses. What does that mean? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, whether or not Amazon's plans are a good thing or not, it remains to be seen. On one hand, providing law enforcement agencies and regulators with a wealth of Bitcoin-related and or other cryptocurrency-related information obviously distracts and detracts from cryptocurrency's promise of relative anonymity, though the public ledger is, as the name describes, public. On the other hand, providing Amazon and its stable of vendors with an effective mechanism to accept Bitcoin payments is a massive boost to the dominant cryptocurrency quest of mass acceptance. So it's kind of a give and take here. Now, with Amazon leading the charge, it's safe to assume that every other online marketplace is probably going to jump as well. Here's the thing that I'm looking at. I want this to happen. I want Amazon to start accepting Bitcoin so I can start using Bitcoin. Now, do I really care if the government can see my address versus or correlated with my Bitcoin address? No, because I have a Ledger Nano S, and the address or the wallet address keeps changing periodically. So would it really matter? Or for my benefit, what I do is I'd send that Bitcoin to only one place and basically pay my Amazon stuff through that one wallet. And let's be serious. How much secrecy do you really need? You're buying on Amazon. I mean, for heaven's sakes, you're already giving them your address. Is it really a big deal? Some people will say yes. I, on the other hand, am, neither here nor there. It really wouldn't bother me. So this is something that's really interesting. But the one good thing, like this, the report says, is that basically if Amazon starts accepting Bitcoin, everyone else is going to. And now we have mass adoption. So the Securities and Exchange Commission has come out guns blazing in the fight to combat ICO fraud and protect small investors like you and I. As we know, cryptocurrencies stole the headlines in 2017 with the biggest milestone Bitcoin has set, such as reaching an all-time high of 20K. And a definite topic of conversation grew around that on the investors' dinner table. So the potential investors could trade in existing cryptocurrencies or be a part of a brand new virtual currency by investing in a startup or ICO. This in itself is a billion-dollar industry and is continuing to grow. But the fact that these ICOs are decentralized and basically don't answer to any authority means that there is a potential for fraud. Now, this is an issue that the SEC, or Securities and Exchange Commission, is actively combating. In fact, the regulator's most recent move could affect dozens of crypto-related platforms, most notably ICOs. Even though the SEC under Chairman Jay Clayton has only taken action in 9 cases of crypto fraud so far, sources privy to the SEC correspondence have stated that the commission is actively working on dozens more. If this is true, 2018 could be a big year for the SEC to take decisive action against a huge number of perpetrators of fraud. But I do want to say one thing. Clayton and a bunch of other people have also mentioned, as well as, how do I put it lightly, are concerned that they don't want Ethereum to be categorized as a security. Imagine if it were, I think we'd have a bigger issue. Currently, what they're saying is that it's no longer a security, but rather a utility because so many other currencies or crypto platforms, blockchain projects are being built on it already. So that is something that I'm more interested in. As far as the SEC cracking down, we knew that was going to happen at some point. But again, that's the biggest thing. And it's funny that we're talking about the SEC because there's also an ongoing class action lawsuit against JP Morgan Chase, who is being sued for overcharging cryptocurrency buyers, right? So you've got fraud on one end by certain shady coins or certain shady ICOs, but at the same time you have banks taking advantage of us. What I'd like to see is someone start to regulate these banks. And this here is one of the cases because Brady Tucker basically is claiming that JP Morgan Chase and Company has started treating his cryptocurrency purchases as cash advances. And back in January, but when instead they should have been regarded as buys, what the bank did was supposedly started charging him with additional fees with sky-high interest rates of as much as 30%. Now, Tucker, who is a single credit card holder from Idaho, also claims that there are other individuals who were supposedly treated in the same unfair way. And as such, he's currently on the track of seeking class action status for his suit filed back on Tuesday in Manhattan's federal court on the grounds of Chase silently smacked him with instant cash advance fees plus much higher interest rates than normal and left him without any recourse. So, back in February, both Visa and MasterCard did essentially reclassify crypto buys as cash advances. But what's really bugging me is that, so the credit card company marks it as a cash advance. IRS has clearly outlined cryptocurrency as taxable as property. And, well, the question is SEC, or the SEC has outlined it or has put a vision that ICOs and cryptocurrencies should be treated as securities. So there's clearly no uniformity on what they should be classified as, which means that you and I, we get taken advantage of from all aspects of it, from the banks overcharging us and charging us percentages, and then the IRS, which is taxing us. And now on top of that, the SEC that looks like will be coming down on some ICOs, which means there are going to be more hurdles for us to jump through. Honestly, I'm starting to see possibly a large class action lawsuit against one of or all of these entities. And the one that I'd really like to see it come across is the IRS. Because realistically speaking, it needs to be one thing. They're either all securities or utilities or whatever the SEC wants it to be, or they're all property like the IRS says. But they need to get their act together, and they really need to figure out what the heck cryptocurrencies should be categorized as. All right, now on to some juicier news. Coinbase leaves cheap air hanging. That's right, Coinbase is about to cease delivering services that are essential for cheap air to continue accepting payments in Bitcoin. And as a result, the company is asking its Bitcoin customers to help find an alternative. Moreover, once cheap air finds a replacement for Coinbase, it intends to also accept other cryptos such as Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and Litecoin. This is very interesting because cheapware is facing a significant challenge to its ability to continue accepting payments in Bitcoin because Coinbase, the processor it currently has, will no longer convert the company's Bitcoins into fiat currency. Therefore, cheapware will be unable to transfer payments to its travel supplier partners such as airlines and hotels. And that would leave them scrambling for an alternative, as stated by Jeff Kleen, the Cheap Air CEO. Cheap Air started to accept Bitcoin when one of its customers asked whether he could use the cryptocurrency to pay for a flight. Now, Cheap Air is asking its customers for help in finding a solution. In a letter addressed to its Bitcoin customers dated April 20th this year, Kleen describes the current situation regarding the Coinbase issue and outlines several actions to improve and expand Bitcoin-based transactions, including Cheap Air's intention to accept additional currencies or cryptos. On top of this, CheapAir plans to help its customers by establishing phone and email services staffed with advisors who are acknowledging or are knowledgeable about cryptocurrencies. It also plans to automate several processes pertaining to Bitcoin transactions. This is amazing. If every company did something like this, mass adoption would happen in no time. Specifically, CheapAir's letter also asks customers the following question: if they buy from their BitPay merchants, would they find the BIP70 wallet requirement to be reasonable or too egregious, too cumbersome? And candidly, would this make you more or less likely to do business with us? I like what CheapAir is doing. It's reaching out to its customers. It's the ones that are really into Bitcoin or like making purchases through Bitcoin like I do, and asking them how they want to proceed or how they want the company to proceed. This is beyond my wildest beliefs because it's great. Imagine if Amazon asked that or Best Buy asked that, and people cater to the crypto world or those that are dabbling in cryptocurrencies. How much better would that be? How much easier would it be for us to start using crypto as a currency? These are things that I'm looking for. Now, CheapAir, let me just put it that way, that because they're doing this much, you can bet that I will be going to cheapair.com to buy my next ticket. Just because I feel that I should be supporting them since they are trying their hardest to support us, the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency community. So, according to a recent CNBC report, New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman is currently investigating 13 different crypto exchanges. One of the most popular Bitcoin wallets? Yep, Coinbase is also being investigated. And as for the investigation, Schneiderman basically stated that too often consumers don't have the basic facts they need to assess their fairness, integrity, and security of these trading platforms. So the exchanges will be forced to supply information of its operations, safety measures, and internal controls. In the last few months, hackers and cybercriminals have targeted more cryptocurrency exchanges in order to steal users' funds. Schneiderman's hopes that this probe will help to make cryptocurrency exchanges more transparent and secure for their customers' funds. Here's the funny thing. Kraken won't comply. Most exchanges are ready to hand over the data to Schneiderman, but one exchange specifically decided not to comply. Now, this is, again, according to CNBC. Kraken, one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, will not hand over the requested information. The CEO and founder of Kraken, Jess Powell, basically stated, the resource diversion for this production is massive. This is going to completely blow up our roadmap. Then I realized we made the wise decision to get the hell out of New York 3 years ago, and that we can dodge this bullet. The Kraken CEO also added that ordinarily we'd be happy to help government understand our business. However, this is not the way to go about it. Kraken left New York because New York is hostile to crypto, and this questionnaire we received today proves that New York is not only hostile to crypto, it's hostile to business. Most cryptocurrency exchanges and companies have left New York because, well, they were required to obtain a BIT license in order to operate. This is some news that I really want to follow and see what happens. I wonder if the same thing is going to happen as things happened in Japan, or if things will take a more positive toll. And you never know. We may see more currencies actually move to Malta, where Binance ended up moving. Alright guys, one more bit of news before we call it an end to the podcast for this week. And that is Verge penetrates market with Pornhub partnership. Now you're probably wondering why the heck this is important. Well, let's take a look back. We usually see that wherever or whatever new technology is adopted by the pornography industry, it tends to stick around. Now, with the battle between VHS and Betamax, we can see that VHS was accepted by the porn industry, and hence VHS became a household product. The same thing with VR, especially VR glasses, VR goggles, that if you notice Samsung has and whatnot, Google has VR headsets. They were also adopted, and now we see them pretty much everywhere. Whether they're useful or not, nobody really cares about that. It's just the fact that they are available everywhere. And now cryptocurrency. So Pornhub, which is a pornographic video sharing website and one of the largest pornography sites on the internet, has officially announced a partnership with privacy-focused crypto Verge. And this probably is why Verge has been skyrocketing. Now, according to the official announcement from the Montreal-founded pornography hub, users are now able to pay for Pornhub's premium subscription with XVG. The crypto will also be accepted by popular sister sites, Brazzers and Newtaku. No clue. But the announcement reads, "The future has come in our efforts to keep current with our community's privacy and payment preferences. Pornhub will now be accepting Verge as a means of payment for services like Pornhub Premium and more on our platforms, building on Verge's core values of security, anonymity, and practicality. The introduction of this cryptocurrency as a means of payment, Pornhub signifies an important foray into the future from the industry that is always on the cutting edge of technology." So, what am I hoping? I'm hoping, like every other bit of technology that the porn industry has taken under its wing and adopted, that it becomes mainstream to the everyday person. And by that, I mean that cryptocurrency becomes a household item that everyone uses, everyone talks about, everyone has. And that's the end game here. We want cryptocurrencies to be widely adopted. And regardless of what we've seen in the articles that came out or the reports that are coming out with Amazon and this and that, it all comes back to wanting mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. And we're seeing that. We're seeing a shift that way. Currently, as we see institutional money pouring in, as well as retailers starting to accept cryptocurrencies and even finding ways to figure out what is the best way for you and I to make purchases on their sites in crypto. We're starting to see a shift, a paradigm shift from fiat and credit cards over to those that use cryptocurrencies as an everyday form of currency. Again, this goes back to me starting to figure out and really pressing that the US government has to figure this out fast. Is it a security? Because I don't think it's going to work under the current security laws or rules. Now, is it property? Yeah, you could call it property, but it's really going to make your life more difficult, especially if everyone starts using it like an everyday currency to purchase goods. And at the same time, the banks are going to have to get on board. I mean, hell, half of them already are on board on the back end. They're already doing blockchain-based stuff, and they're playing with cryptocurrency. They're just screwing us over. So, at the end of the day, everyone wants a piece, but everyone also wants to take your fiat while you become an early adopter. Something's going to have to change. Someone somewhere is going to have to stamp the approval of this being a currency, especially if it's used as a currency. Not all of the cryptocurrencies out there, not all of the projects, but at least Bitcoin and Litecoin. As far as Bcash goes, I think it's a bunch of trash, but that's my personal opinion. So we're going to have to see what happens. 2018 is going to be the year of regulation. 2019 and 2020, I have a feeling, is going to be the year of mass adoption. I mean, we haven't even hit mass adoption yet. We haven't even hit half of 16.5% penetration rate here. We're still stuck at the 2, 3, 4%. 4 is kind of a stretch. We are just seeing institutional money come in. So within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to start to see mass adoption. And if that happens, boy, are our investments that we're currently in right now going to skyrocket. And that's a great thing. But in all honesty, I don't see myself pulling those out into fiat, because I'm not here to make money on fiat. I'm here to start using this technology. And the more I can use it, the better I'm going to be, the happier I'm going to be. And the more it becomes usable, the more people are going to get involved. And the more the prices are going to increase on the actual crypto itself for those of us that are trading. So that's where I'm going to call it a day. There are a few things that I do want to mention. I want to send a shout out to Mauricio. He actually designed our new logo for Crypto Coin Guru, which I thought was amazing. The guy is a great artist. Anyone that's interested in getting a logo done, getting some type of work done, or any type of graphic design, honestly, reach out to him. The guy is humble. He's honest. He knows what people are thinking. He really talks to you. He really gets into your brain. And then he does an amazing job. Again, the guy's name is Mauricio. And check him out. He's on Instagram over at Stay True Design. And you'll see the new CCG logo on there. He's done a ton of stuff with Stay True Design, Infinity Auto Haas. I mean, he's got a ton of stuff that you can look at. But check him out. He has an email address. You can also email him at staytruedesign@yahoo.com. The guy's a great artist, a great graphic designer, an awesome logo design, and we personally want to thank him for the design that he put together for the Crypto Coin Guru. And guys, if that's something you're looking for, check him out. Once again, thanks, Mauricio. And you guys all know what that sound means. Yep. That's time again for This Week in Crypto to come to an end, guys. Check us out on our Facebook page. Check us out on Twitter at _CryptoCoinGuru. And guys, as always, it's been a blast. So this is episode 14 in the can. Until next time, invest wisely. Join us in the member section. And you know what, guys? Crypto on. Until next time, this is Singh signing out for Crypto Coin Guru.